weekend officially begins tonight. But the Marlins got an early start last night by beating the Reds. 4-game series. This would be game 2. That's the roof. It's shut. Ric Flair, ladies and gentlemen, the nature boy. Still got, not the fastball, but he's here tonight. It's wrestling night. Even Billy is in costume and ready to go. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Todd Hollinsworth. Marlins and Reds. We'll get to the nature boy. We'll get to the wrestlers as the night goes along. But all of a sudden, the Marlins have won 5 of their last 7 baseball games.
Yeah, playing really good baseball. Great to see the offense rolling. It's kind of been the theme this year. When the offense rolls, it allows everything to settle in. Even last night, great start from O'Grady. Outstanding stuff there. Good bullpen. Nice win. But they're playing good baseball. I think it was real important to bring it home. Nice road trip. They've been playing well on the road, but the opening homestand of the second half didn't go so well.
Marlins got some bad news today. Martin Prado, knee surgery. And, of course, in his absence, Derek Dietrich's been getting a lot of playing time and scuffling a bit. But that's stopped. Over the last couple of games, all of a sudden, Dietrich is rolling.
Now, sometimes you find yourself in a desperate situation with 2 strikes and a Yu Darvish on the mound, and you're up there just looking for anything right to happen. And you know what? You keep your hands back, you keep your weight on your backside, and you find a hole up the middle, and you get a big base hit, and all of a sudden the weight of the world just comes right off those shoulders. The tension is released, and next thing you know, you're hitting big home runs, driving in runs left and right. Get this, folks, 8 RBIs over his last 2 ball games.
Dietrich continued last night. The home run got Miami started in a 4-1 win against the Reds. Drew a nice walk with the bags loaded as well. Look at that, 8 RBIs in the last 2 games for Dietrich, and he wasn't done yet. Little flare. All of a sudden, the ball has turned, and things are falling his way. Now, the Marlins just played the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds saw just about every pitcher the Marlins have, though they didn't see a Vance Worley start. Worley gets the start tonight. That's in Tom Kohler's spot in the rotation.
Well, it's going to be important that he mixes his fastballs, that cut fastball, the 2-seamer and the 4-seamer. This Reds team has been struggling. This could be a good matchup. O'Grady exposed it last night. I think it's a good opportunity for Worley to do the same.
And the bullpen is fresh. And look, last night was a terrific night. Chris O'Grady went 7 innings. Tozawa 2/3. And AJ says he's ready to go, even though he got the 4 outs last night.
Ramos pitches well when he gets lots and lots of work, and that's when he's at his best, so hopefully he is ready to go tonight.
Now, the Marlins saw this starter when they were in Cincinnati. Sal Romano, big right-hander, a rookie, and he pitched real well.
Now, the challenge for the Marlins tonight is to make him middle. Talked to Frank Menachino before the game. He said, listen, he did a nice job exposing us. We got way too aggressive that second time through the lineup. Make that fastball be in our zone, and we'll be in a good spot.
Marlins feel like they're in a pretty good zone right now. There they go. AJ Ramos. He knows the drill. Vance Worley on his start. Been a while since he's been on the bump to begin a game. But he gets the Reds tonight. And we've got first pitch and lineups around the bend. first pitch. Vance Worley ready to go. Let's head out to center field. He's escaped the demo den, Jeff Conine. And tonight, a command performance from Jessica Blaylock.
Thanks so much, Rich. The Marlins once again needing to fill a hole in their starting rotation, so they are calling on Vance Worley to step up and step in. But Niner, this is the first time that he has started for the Fish since June 9th.
Yeah, and since then, only 7 relief appearances. This month of July, he's only had 3 appearances with 6 1/3 innings. So I think Don Mattingly would be ecstatic tonight if he can get him to the 4th or the 5th inning.
And for Worley, he said there are definitely differences preparing as a starter versus preparing for coming out of the pen.
I mean, really, it's how I want to do my running in between outings, in the weight room, bullpens in between outings. You know, if I'm in the bullpen, you know, if I don't get in for a few days, I'll throw just a few off the mound just so I have a feel for being off of a mound. And then as a starter, you have those couple days to recover. Okay, I got to throw a bullpen. And now 2 days later, going into a game, and I'm going to try to go as deep as I can versus, you know, maybe airing it out for 1 or 2 innings.
Some more pitching news today. Nick Wickren placed on the disabled list retroactively with an elbow strain, but luckily the Marlins able to call up a guy like Odrisamer Despaigne from New Orleans. He can provide some long relief if necessary.
Yeah, you're basically going to go with 2 long relievers tonight, I would think, with Worley hopefully getting 3rd, 4th, 5th inning possibly, and then Despaigne coming in after him.
The Marlins have won 5 of their last 7, so hopefully that success continues tonight. Between the Marlins and the Reds, it is game 2 of a 4-game series. Fish looking to continue a hot streak. It's wrestling night as well at Marlins Park.
Is brought to you by Jeep, by Vico Painting Contractors. Find out more at www.vicopainting.com. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. In Miami tonight, Reds, Marlins. Game 2, 4-game series. Miami a 4-1 win last night. And here's the Reds order brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Speedy Billy Hamilton on top. Scooter Jeanette at second base. Joey Votto's at first. Adam Duvall in left. Eugenio Suarez is one of the few Reds that is hot right now. Scott Schebler in right. Jose Peraza is the shortstop. Tucker Barnhart threw out D. Gordon twice last night. And Sal Romano is in the 9 spot for Brian Price and the Reds.
And here to get tonight's game started, please welcome back the one and only Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Play ball! Woo! Woo, woo!
Well, that's a good way to start the ball game, right?
I agree wholeheartedly.
Billy Hamilton coming up to the plate. A word with the venerable one, Joe West behind the plate, and Vance Worley on the mound for Miami.
Yeah, Vance Worley making his 5th start of the season. All 4 starts, 5 innings or less. So hoping for some length from Vance Worley tonight. 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, that cutter going to be important for him. This is a Reds team that's been struggling. He can pick his spots in this lineup to be aggressive and maybe where to back off a little bit, but throwing strikes is going to be key.
Worley, the 29-year-old, has been in and out of major league rotations since he got to the big leagues with the Phillies. Spent most of his time last year in Baltimore's bullpen, made 4 starts with the Orioles, and has made 4 starts with Miami this year. They'd like to keep this guy off base. Marlins did that last night. Billy Hamilton was 0 for 5. And Worley zings one in there. Vance Worley has that fastball that just sort of cuts in towards the lefties and away from the righties.
All right, those are his 2 specialty pitches. He works off that fastball an awful lot, throws about 55% of the time. Does have a changeup, occasionally throws that changeup, the knuckle curve, but that cutter is a big pitch, throws it about 36% of the time. So it's 2-seam fastball and cutter, and working to both sides of the plate.
And the Marlins have used him with a lot of different roles, whether they need somebody long, an occasional start. The 2-2 doesn't come far enough, misses out, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I talked about being aggressive against the Cincinnati Reds team. Last 4 games, this road trip, 172 collectively for the Reds offense.
Hamilton walks, and he'll trot down to first. Miami's defense tonight.
Well, your defense for the Marlins tonight, exact same one as last night. Yeah, there you go. Marcell Ozuna, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton. That's your outfield. Dietrich, Rojas, Gordon, Tyler Moore over at first base, JT Realmuto, Vance Worley.
Now Worley controls the running game quite well. His career caught stealing percentage is 52%, and that's extraordinary. But of course, Hamilton with 43 bags is inching away from first. And he's running on the first pitch. Realmuto's throw is safe. Rojas with the tag. Hamilton's hand just in there under the tag, according to the second base umpire, Andy Fletcher.
Everything right about it. Good throw, Vance Worley. Good catch and throw from JT Realmuto.
Ooh.
Really close at second base. The only thing I'd say is maybe it was a little bit to the shortstop side of the bag, but I think he beats him.
Now he's got one of those oven mitt protectors on the hand, which is kind of extendo for the fingers. I don't know that at this point of the game, I don't know if it's worth the gamble.
Got no clock to go by.
Joe West coming over saying, hey, that's about as much time as you get. Ed Lucas is the Marlins replay guy, and the Marlins are going to challenge it. So we've been able to look at a couple of views. We'll see what else we've got to look at.
You see the ball beats him. Question is not to the bag, it's to the left side of the bag. Billy Hamilton obviously on the right side of the bag. So it's a race. It's a race from ball in glove to hand to bag. Does he beat him? I think he does.
Now look, his fingers aren't that long, so the apparatus on his hand gives him about, what, 3 inches of leeway here?
I'll tell you right now, if that's the way it goes, I would have been running the bases with a swing paddle.
Well, New York obviously looking at it right now. Fletcher, the second base umpire. Joe West is a crew chief. This is a gamble here in the first inning with a runner at second base. If the Marlins lose this challenge, then they're without a challenge until the umpires get to the 8th, where they can challenge by their own initiative. He's safe.
Ooh.
So call stands, which means not enough to confirm, not enough to overturn. Don Mattingly shaking his head, and so the gamble does not pay off, and Hamilton has stolen base number 44. Scooter Gennett, the hitter, against Worley.
Well, after seeing that, it raises the question in my mind, how long is that thing allowed to be? Because look, he's running with a closed fist, and that is extending way past his hand.
Well, that's why I brought that up. I
right.
mean, it's way longer than his fingers.
Than his hand, and you saw how close that play was at second base.
And that one pulled foul. But that's been the standard in baseball the last 3-4 years with those protectors for the hand or the wrist, especially those that extend down to mid-thigh.
That's like I said, I'll be out there with an oar.
As I've called it, it's an oven mitt. When the cookies are ready to get them out of the oven, that's what Billy Hamilton uses.
Right.
That liner into the seats. And it counts 1-2 on Scooter Gennett, who was 1 for 4 last night. Knocked in a run. Of course, Gennett, a Florida guy. After being born in Cincinnati, was raised in Sarasota. Worley checks. And pitch misses in. The Reds last night were really kept off balance by Chris O'Grady. For 7 innings, O'Grady picked up his second major league win. Brian Price's Reds unable to push across more than 1 run, though they had base runners and traffic throughout the game. Hopper, Moore backing up, bobbles, flips. Worley's at first base in time to get Gennett. And then you got Joey Votto coming up in an RBI spot with 1 out and a runner at third base.
Joey Votto, 339 runners in scoring position this season. 332 in his career.
This has always been the argument or the discussion about Votto. Drive in runs or have a high on base percentage.
This year he's doing both.
Pitch misses down low. And it counts 1-0. Now the RBI is out there waiting because the infield's back. And so anything on the ground to short, second, or first and by the mound should send Hamilton home. And that's exactly what Votto does. This one gets into center field. And Joey Votto with an RBI single.
Number 800 for Joey Votto, 800th career RBI, tied for 11th most in Reds history. Second RBI for Joey Votto in the second half. Slow start here. Second half of 2017.
So that call at second base is pretty crucial now that the Reds are on the board. Here comes Adam Duvall with Votto at first. Duvall 1 for 4, a double last night. Right-handed slugger.
Well, 4-game hitting streaks, got a double and a home run. A couple walks as well, 3 RBIs over those 4 games.
Crushes one. Left field. No question about it. It's gone. That's a 2-run homer, and the Reds sprint to a 3-0 start. And there's only 1 out here in the first.
Well, arguably the hottest hitter in the Reds lineup. I say that loosely. They've struggled as a unit in the second half. Real nice swing of the bat. A couple days ago in New York, had a home run. Here today, gets a fastball. About middle. Pulled his hands through it. Some real nice extension. You see the cut fastball. Cut as much as he probably wanted. In fact, really stayed in its lane. The ball all over it.
Here is Suarez. It sounded good and it looked good. Nice play up in the seats. And Worley falls behind at 2-0. This was Tom Kohler's spot in the rotation. Kohler made the start against Romano and the Reds on Sunday. Gave up 6 runs in 5 2/3. Worley hops into his spot. Kohler sent back down to AAA. And of course, the Marlins have had injuries of late. But remember, Edinson Volquez out of the rotation. Wei-Yin Chen's been absent for a long time with really no progress in his throwing program. Those are 2 big pieces of a rotation that Don Mattingly does not have at his disposal. Full count, 3-2. But of course, the Reds have no pity. They've been starting rookies in their rotation an awful lot this year. They've got 3 rookies in their rotation right now. And of course, the danger here for the Marlins is this: if Worley's start doesn't get off the ground and get through, say, the 2nd inning, Tom Mattingly's into his bullpen and he's going to have to piece it together. There's no off day for the Fish until next Thursday. I think everybody's aware of that down in the bullpen. Scott Schebler now. Up the middle, Rojas makes the catch. So there's the 2nd out. And here comes Jose Peraza.
Nice ball game for Peraza last night. A couple of hits. Finds himself in the lineup again today. Zach Cozart has not started his last 3 games now. Nursing that injured quad.
Boy, they lose a lot with Cozart. Cozart always been very, very steady defensively. Not great range, but very reliable. And this year is having his best offensive year in the big leagues by far in terms of production. Peraza, the guy that everybody had hoped and expected would win the second base job. 23-year-old Venezuelan. Originally in the Braves organization. We talked about the 2 3-way trades that he was involved with. Braves, White Sox, Reds. That was the second one. First one was Braves, Dodgers, and Marlins. And the count's 3-1 now. Peraza, 4 homers. One of his biggest challenges is on base percentage. Just a .275 on base for a .245 average. Turns on one. That's a nice play.
Well done.
Get him in the demo den.
Off his chair and off the dirt.
And why not? Look, why not reward that young man with the bonefish catch of the game?
Hey, you're going to tell me a big leaguer is going to make a better catch than this off the dirt tonight?
And he didn't trap it.
That's right.
Great fish, great cocktails, great times. Go to Bonefish Grill. Comebacker. Worley to first in time, but the Reds jump Miami for 3 in the first. Marlins go to work. Adam Duvall with a 2-run homer. And Miami's lineup looks this way against Sal Romano. In the leadoff spot, D. Gordon, sponsored by Southwest. Giancarlo Stanton slotted second. Christian Yelich is hot. He's in center. Marcell Ozuna, a terrific month of July. 23 runs driven in. JT Realmuto as well has had a great July. Derek Dietrich last 2 nights has driven in 8 runs. Tyler Moore, Miguel Rojas, and Vance Worley. And here is Sal Romano, who was impressive against the Marlins last weekend in the Queen City.
Certainly was. And here's your Auto Nation scouting report of Sal Romano. 6'5", 270 pounds, 23 years old. Best start ever. Yeah, that's right. His last start was just that, making only his 5th big league start tonight. Number 4, really good versus the Marlins. 98 pitches, 6 solid innings, only 1 earned run. Now, fastball command. It is big for him. 95, 97 miles an hour on that 4-seam fastball. He does have a slider. It's a good pitch. It's more of a wipeout pitch, but that's about it. He's got a little bit of a changeup, and he threw a few of them in the last start, but he doesn't really have a third pitch. Pitch count's a big one. I think he's walked a few guys, and if the Marlins can get it up like last night against Stevenson, there's a chance they can get him out of the game early.
Gordon in the box, counts 1 and 2. Now those are the numbers. What's the impression from Marlin hitters?
Well, I told Marcell Ozuna about the scouting report before the game, and this is what he told me. Watch closely. This was his response. Whoop. Whoop, whoop. That's a slider. He said, I want no part of that slider. There you go. He remembers.
Well, Gordon strikes out
on a slider.
Stanton and Yelich to follow. And the big strong right-hander out of Carl Pavano's hometown of Southington, Connecticut. Throws a strike and it's 0-1. Numbers for Stanton: 33 homers, leads baseball. Aaron Judge back in action tonight. Apparently lost a tooth in the celebration in the walk-off win over the Rays last night, and is in the lineup tonight. These walk-off celebrations can be dangerous.
Well, it seems like everybody's losing teeth around here. I believe that Snides, right, Snyder's child, lost a tooth on purpose today. Judge lost a tooth to the ballgame. Everybody's losing teeth. Ow. Clint Frazier trying to take a tooth out.
2-2 to Stanton. Fastball is in. Now Brett Gardner was the hero last night. He had the big triple that set up the tying run in the 9th and then walked off. And Gardner has homered in the 1st inning tonight. And the Yankees have a 1-0 lead over the Rays. 3-2 to Stanton. Misses out. Stanton walks 3 times last night, and he walks here since the break. Here is Judge, and here is Stanton.
Giancarlo Stanton, outstanding. He even talked about it, how much he's grown this year, how much smarter he's gotten at the plate, how he's breaking it down from pitch to pitch now. And you're starting to really see it. Even when the slumps are starting to come, they last a much shorter period of time.
Couple all-stars at first, Votto and Stanton. Yelich in the box. And Romano, who's at 6'5", 270. This is with his first pitch. Yelich 1 for 4, scored a couple runs, and of course coming off of 2 monstrous games in Texas, where he had 5 doubles and 2 homers combined.
Well, those numbers, Rich, as you and I have talked about, for Yelly, kind of waiting for him to get into that hot stretch. He's starting to show some signs since May 23rd to today. He's been the number 3 hitter for the Marlins in that period of time. He's hitting .316 with a .400 on base percentage, 20 doubles, 55 games. Those are numbers that number 3 hitters put up.
There's that stretch that he's on right now. Let's see what he gets on the 1-1. Sometimes a big guy like Romano, 6'5", 270, takes a while to unfold, but he has a real quick delivery. It's on you in a hurry.
Yeah, he appears to be quite athletic for a guy his size, 270 pounds, 6'5". But yes, you're right. Kind of gets it all moving downhill rather quickly.
Yelich fouls it back. Reds defensively tonight, still without Cozart at short.
Billy Hamilton made a couple of nice catches last night. All right, here's your defense. Duvall, Hamilton, Schebler over in right field. Suarez, Peraza, Jeanette, Votto. Barnhart back behind the plate. Votto on the mound.
3 runs in the first for Cincinnati against Vance Worley. Stanton's at first with 1 out. Yelich. A 2-2. Well, once again, we have terrific audio. In fact, we've won many awards for the great audio that we have in and around Marlins Park. And when you get crossed up as a catcher, sometimes you say something
Well, Rich, 97-mile-an-hour fastball, 87, 86-mile-an-hour slider, and when you're expecting the slider and you get the 97, you get some language like that sometimes. Yeah, you don't want to get crossed up with that kind of velocity, and you see Barnhart busted out to the mound to clean that up.
So we apologize for the great audio. We apologize for Romano crossing up Barnhart. And most importantly, we apologize for the language. 3-2. Down low, Yelich walks. So the door is open just a little bit for Miami to answer back.
Well, this has been a theme for the Marlins in this series so far. 7 of the 8 starters last night for the Marlins had a walk. There you go. Stanton's got 4. Yelly had a walk last night. Yelich now has 2 walks in the series. Ozuna had a walk last night as well.
So Ozuna climbs in. Romano gave up just a solo homer to A.J. Ellis in that start on Sunday. Marcel chases a slider. Barnhart apparently not happy with that either. Is on his way out to talk to his starting pitcher. It's funny, we saw Ozuna giving that visual scouting report pointing to Romano and then pantomiming the pitches. He didn't play in that game. He was watching from the dugout.
Well, he was watching and listening to what his teammates were telling him.
Ichiro got the start in left field that day.
Obviously, a few came back.
It's been a rough ride for Barnhart already. I mean, a couple of misses, getting crossed up. Ball and a strike. That one gets by him. 90 apiece for Stanton and Yelich, and again, Barnhart and this rookie right-hander having all kinds of problems. I don't know if he thought that was a fastball and it dipped on him, or if he just plain misjudged it.
Now backhands it off the glove and through the wickets. Marlins runners able to move up.
Looked like he was on the pitch. He just didn't get down. A little bit of a slider, and it's up. And now Ozuna is sitting on a 3-1 pitch. The Reds infield is back. And you got runners second and third. And of course, like cold hard fact, in July, Ozuna's knocked in 23. He can add to that right here. And he walks Ozuna. Well, last night's starter, Robert Stevenson, walked 7 in 4 1/3. When your pitching coach comes out of the dugout shaking his head back and forth like that, that's not a good sign. And it's
maybe indicative of the ball strike ratio so far for Romano.
Well, lost in all of this is the fact that the Reds are 2-12 since the All-Star break. So they're struggling in all facets of the game right now, and their young pitching is struggling as well. You've got a 3-0 lead in the first inning, Rich, and your young starter who's making his 5th big league start goes out and walks the bases loaded. I mean, that's the epitome of frustration for a team, for the defense, for everything that's going on. And then you factor in the communication between Barnhart and Romano. It has just kind of created a potentially dangerous situation now for the Marlins hitters. And JT Realmuto, as you see, has got 1 grand slam. So see if he can't square him up and do some damage.
Realmuto, a .391 clip last 17 games. And a strike.
9 walks last night for Reds pitchers, 3 already tonight.
Well, that's a gift, and you saw Realmuto shaking his head, not happy with Joe West's first call. That's a bailout call for a struggling rookie. Let's see when he comes back. 0-1. That slider he's not been able to throw for a strike yet. That's been a chase pitch exclusively.
Well, there's no more surprise. That's the difference between his last start, which was an outstanding start for Romano and the Reds on Sunday, was the effectiveness of that slider. In fact, we saw Marcell Ozuna and the reaction to it. That's exactly what he was talking about with that slider. Marlins hitters have now seen it.
That's a strike. Realmuto behind the count 1-2. It is a strike. It's right at the knees, and it has the plate. So certainly that first call has changed the at bat. Let's see if Realmuto can rise above. Infield's back, looking for a ground ball and a way out of this inning. And Realmuto chases, swings and misses.
Well, that's the effectiveness of a slider with 2 strikes. You see the, I don't call it desperation, JT Realmuto. Difference of opinion with Joe West in the bottom of the strike zone here. Puts him in a position where he feels as though he has to defend with 2 strikes and try and put the ball in play. Goes and chases a slider way off the outside corner.
Well, here's Dietrich, and certainly he's been the big man on campus the last 2 nights.
This could be an interesting night, Rich. We've got 3 walks and 2 strikeouts from Romano so far.
Marlins have not put a ball in play here in the first. Dietrich takes a fastball for a strike. Dietrich, just a quick question to Joe West. And an 0-1 coming. Fastball right down the middle. 97. It's 0-2.
Dietrich, .407 career hitter versus the Cincinnati Reds. 8 RBIs over the last 2 ball games. Good spot for him here to do something.
Heard Jeff Conine talking about Derek Dietrich on Marlins Live. Jumping into the demo den. And he chases a slider. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. And the Marlins leave him loaded. 2-0 Reds lead. And Vance Worley back on the mound. A rough first inning, gave up 3 runs, including a 2-run homer to Adam Duvall. Liner, foul. Tucker Barnhart. Well, he got the play of the game. Look at this. I don't think he was ready for the start of the inning. I don't think he had his glove on. Ah, there you go. See? Just wasn't ready. The ball will find you.
It will. Snuck up on him.
Now, you can't do that in baseball. You can't field a ball with your cap. Catchers can't touch the ball with their masks. You're not supposed to throw your glove at the ball either. It's three bases if it hits.
Well, remember, Marcell Ozuna was somewhat accused of that a few weeks, or it might have even been a month ago.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, right? Yeah.
That was close, too. That pitch was close there. Barnhart, Romano, and Hamilton. I think Barnhart's a little relieved to be at the plate instead of behind the plate after that wild first inning. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, a few cross-ups, a lot of balls in the dirt. Off of Worley, Dietrich barehands, fires to first, and just gets him. Fortunate bounce for the Fish. Unfortunate for Barnhart. And a 1-5-3 in the scoreboard.
Now, 2-seam fastball. Everybody looks like they're okay. One hop off that dirt. Well, catches him on the glove hand, wrist, a little bit below his hand. Redirects over to Dietz. Dietrich fires across. Out number 1 here in the second.
There's Romano, and he fouls it back. Full schedule of games. One of them has been postponed. Washington and Colorado in D.C. Rained out.
Figure it's better off to call it early than try to wait it out at the beginning of a game.
They did call it earlier today.
No, that's what I mean. After what happened earlier this year.
Long time out to call it, but they did. And those teams will play 3 games in D.C. I believe the doubleheader is Sunday. That interesting series in Milwaukee opens tonight with the Brewers and the Cubs. Cubs have a 1.5-game lead now in the Central. Two balls, 2 strikes. That would be strike 3. Down goes Romano. Tomorrow night, Marlins and Reds. First 7,500 fans get a D. Gordon bobblehead, courtesy of Rico. Act quickly. They'll be gone in a flash. Get your tickets at marlins.com/tickets. Billy Hamilton. Well, that first inning kind of hinged upon the call at second base. Hamilton stealing. Realmuto's throw was just a bit to the third base side. And the call was safe. The Marlins looked at it and challenged the call. And New York said after a long look, call stands. Not enough to overturn, not enough to confirm that the call was right. Rojas got the tag down as best he could. And the interesting wrinkle here is look at the hand protector on the left hand of Hamilton. And if he's safe by an inch or two, that's the difference.
Oh, it most definitely is, Rich.
I mean, look how far that thing extends out.
About halfway down is where his hand ends.
Don Mattingly out to talk to Joe West. That was between innings. Whether it was about that or not, we're not sure. Here's the 1-2. And Vance Worley gets a strikeout of Hamilton, and a clean 1-2-3 for Worley in the second. Seconds. Miami had an opportunity in the first. The Fish loaded the bases against Sal Romano with 1 out after he walked 3 consecutive hitters, Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna. Tyler Moore fouls it back, and then Romano proceeded to strike out both JT Realmuto and Derek Dietrich on 2-strike sliders. He's got Moore, Rojas, and then Worley. Tyler Moore had a sac fly last night.
Real nice at bat, 10-pitch at bat. Fought off a few 2-strike pitches and was able to drive one deep to right. Important run for the Marlins at the time.
And maybe that's the type of at bat that gets Moore going. It's been a bit of a rough patch for him with sporadic starts. Now that Justin Bour's on the DL, he's going to be in there just about every day. He's 0 for his last 18 with 10 strikeouts. And you know what? Maybe it was, because that's a bullet into center field. So a leadoff hit. We check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich, Marlins catching coach Brian Schneider's young son, Holden, had a little bit of a dilemma recently. He had a loose tooth and needed a creative way to get it out. So here is what he came up with.
Schneider.
Check this out. He's got a string connected from his tooth
tied from his tooth
to a baseball that's on a tee.
To the baseball. And he's going to show us how baseball players
That's right.
get rid of a loose tooth. You ready, Holden? Okay, you got it.
Check that out. Holden showing everyone how it is done. Whatever the tooth fairy is given out for a tooth these days, she needs to multiply it by about 10 because that is awesome.
Not enough for just the what is it, standard $2-3 now these days?
I'm guessing it's probably at least 5, isn't it?
Well, it's gone
Inflation.
up. It's gone up since I was around. That little roller is going to be a fair ball. Barnhart gets an out there, and that's it. Rojas, just a piece of it. Barnhart's very much like JT Realmuto. Extremely athletic and an exceptional throwing arm. And he gets the out at second. Here comes Worley.
It's out from behind home plate as quickly as JT Realmuto. You see that, a couple of steps and a dart to second base. Almost able to turn two. Rojas hustling all the way.
All right, let's see if Worley is trying to bunt. Rojas up to second. D. Gordon's on deck.
It's probably the best hitting pitcher in this rotation right now. Swing the bat a little bit. Looks like he's going to put down a sacrifice bunt.
Little flip on over to first. And so Worley's sacrifice is a good one. Gordon a shot with 2 outs. Major League doubleheader on FS1. Dodgers, Giants, and yes, Marlins and Reds. Tom Verducci will be calling the game, and he's going to join us here for the 3rd inning. FS1 tomorrow, 7 o'clock start. Check your local listing and your cable provider for channel location.
D. Gordon steps in, strikeout victim in the first. Fortunately, snaps his 7-game streak of reaching base in the first inning. 6 hits and a walk until tonight.
Fastball up to Gordon. You know, the ball that Moore hit in the center field was, I believe, the 31st pitch of the ball game for Romano, and it's the first one that was put in play. Check swing, and it is a swing. Alan Porter says a strike. Gordon in disbelief, shakes his head. And climbs back in. Outfield is not very deep, especially Hamilton, who doesn't play very deep in center to begin with. Even against Giancarlo Stanton, he's very close to where he is right now. Only a few steps back for Stanton. He is a guy that takes away anything in front and has the speed to go get it behind him. And pitchers love that.
Well, it's developed a little deeper as when he first got here. He's been able to develop that.
Gordon, Scooter Gennett on to first in time. And Gordon is out. Miami leaves a runner. They've left 4 and trail it 3-0. Third tomorrow night, FS1, and in town and in the booth, Tom Verducci of MLB Network, of Sports Illustrated, of Fox Sports. Did I forget anybody?
I think you got them all.
Is that
Thanks.
it? Very nice.
You did your homework.
And one of the best press pictures at Citi Field on the wall, back on his day covering the Mets.
Oh, yeah. That's all 1980s, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very cool.
For people who don't know, the past chapter chairman of the New York chapter of the Baseball Writers Association are photographs from the back of the press box at Citi Field. Why they did that, I have no idea. But there I am in all my 1980s glory.
And your hair was glorious.
Thank you.
I must say. All right, let's talk baseball here as Vance Worley facing Scooter Gennett. You got Joey Votto, Adam Duvall coming up. So for tomorrow night, I would expect plot lines are the seasons that didn't work the way these two teams had hoped. For the Reds, in a rebuilding process with young pitchers, and certainly for the Marlins, being where they are right now, headed towards the deadline, wasn't a spot the Fish wanted to be in.
Exactly. And that certainly is a theme going into this weekend, of course. Who will not be here come next Tuesday? Certainly there's some attractive properties on each team, but I'm also looking at some of the characteristics of these teams offensively. First of all, the two leadoff men, right? D. Gordon, Billy Hamilton. They rank 1-2 in the big leagues, scoring a run in the first inning. We've already seen that at play with Billy Hamilton cashing in the first inning tonight. And how about Joey Votto and Giancarlo Stanton getting it done in two different ways? But I love watching Joey Votto's at bats. I can almost hear him thinking at the plate in between pitches.
Right. He's certainly getting his way back around after a slow start here in the second half. What do you think of Stanton's assault on baseball right now since moving into the 2 spot? I think that's kind of how we really do line it up. Certainly understand his power, but since he's become a number 2 hitter, I mean, his game has just opened up.
Yeah, I love that move, by the way, in the 2-hole. We saw Josh Donaldson win an MVP in that spot. I like to get him up there as many times as possible.
That's cranked into right. Scooter Gennett with the leadoff hit. Well, since going into the 2 spot, those are the numbers.
I'll tell you, D. Gordon must love it as well. He saw that last inning with the first base open, 2 outs. You knew he was going to get pitches to hit, didn't cash in. But how about the close stance on Giancarlo Stanton as well? He's going all 1970s on us. Little Joe Rudy, Disco Dan Ford.
Oh, let's see. Now, he hit a home run the other night, and I immediately said, that's Jack Clark.
Oh, that's a good one, too. Yeah, number 22.
I just remember the reasoning with Adrian Beltre and coming up with Adrian, who's another guy who's got a very closed stance. You know, the logic behind it, talking to Frank Menachino about it and watching Stanton make the tweaks through the last couple months. It's pretty simple stuff. He was having a hard time flying open on the front side.
Gordon, Rojas, and Votto bounces into a double play.
I think that's a great word to use. Simple. For a big guy, we know how much power he has. He doesn't have to generate a lot of extracurricular activity with the body to generate it. In fact, I can tell you a story that when Adam Judge made his transition over this past offseason from a high leg kick, kind of high energy kind of guy, Giancarlo Stanton was one of his models. 6'6", big guy, very quiet lower half. And he actually looked at a lot of Stanton video, and well, we see what he's doing now.
I love it.
Ooh, that's a breaking ball that got loose. And it gets Adam Duvall with 2 outs.
I love it because it's, to me, the way it's been described, and certainly I heard it in my career, simple. It's not sabermetric driven. It's not based on video analysis. And 40 hours ago, I've got done watching all my tape, and I've come up with this new modified swing. It's as simple as I can't keep my front hip in. I keep leaking. I keep wanting to step in the bucket, so I'm going to close up a little bit. And then he was a little too close to the plate. Then he moved off the plate, and now you're seeing the finished product, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, to me, he's such a strong rotational hitter.
Right.
Very rotational. When those hips fly a little too quick, that's when he tends to open up vulnerable balls away. And I think you're right, Todd, that closed stance keeps him closed longer and on the baseball longer.
Well, here, Vance Worley had a rough ride in the first inning. And he tightened up in the second. Suarez pulls that one wide of third. Our buddy down there makes another nice play. Catch of the game.
So far.
So far.
We might see better before the night's out.
We've already awarded him the Bonefish Grill catch of the game. We pulled the trigger early on that.
All right, well, there's no taking it back now.
Product placement is key in this game. Here's the 0-2. Suarez, a little dribbler. Worley to first. Got him. Barely got him. Suarez is out. Reds a 3-0 lead. Tom Verducci returns after this.
Telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
I sure hope that FS1 has a disclaimer with that much gusto, that much authority.
I had chills listening to that.
Never.
My hair was up on my arms.
That cannot be replaced. It's irreplaceable, by the way.
It is. Giancarlo Stanton up now. And Strike starts his at bat here in the third. Stanton walked back in the first. Sal Romano, the big righty, 23-year-old rookie. Stanton takes another strike. Couple breaking balls. Quickly it's 0-2. Romano walked Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna, and struck everybody else out in that first inning. Fastball, Stanton lifts it right field down the line. Schebler in pursuit, and he makes the catch in foul territory. Where do you think the Stanton Judge Derby ends up when the season gets to mid-September?
Yeah, my money is on Giancarlo Stanton. I'm sure Gary Sheffield watching too. His record is held up since what, 96 here in Miami?
Yep.
That's going to go down. But yeah, you know, as much as I love Aaron Judge, for me, I still have to see any young player go through that 6-month grind.
Yelich a bunt. Barnhart calls him off, wheels and deals, and makes a terrific play. There are two of the most athletic, strong-arm catchers in the game here tonight with Barnhart and Real Muto.
No doubt about it. Barnhart jumps out behind home plate as quickly as anybody. See JT do it all the time. Tom, I want to ask you, we're running out of time. Clearly, this may be a 7-pitch inning. The Hall of Fame this weekend. You've got Pudge, you've got Bagwell. Who am I forgetting? Off the top of my head, I wanted to ask you so fast. Oh,
Tim
Rock Raines, right? Yeah,
John
Rock.
Sherholz, Bud Selig.
Right. There you
Big
go.
group this year.
I'm trying to be fast. I mean, this inning might be over in like 5 seconds. What do you think of everybody going in? Anybody stand out? Is there a favorite in there for you?
Well, for me, it's Tim Raines. Waited until his last year to get in, his 10th year. I thought he was a Hall of Famer. I voted for him since his first year on the ballot. Happy to see him get in. I've always felt like once guys get that close to the Hall of Fame, and I felt this way back Jack Morris, who I also voted for, got so close and didn't get in. I want to see more guys get in.
0-2. Marcell Ozuna up. Bud Selig. Be interesting to see and listen to his speech.
Yeah, you know, there's some people who know Bud very well who think it might be an emotional speech, and that wouldn't surprise me.
Hey!
You heard the reaction from Ozuna. Joe West rings him up. And Ozuna pointing to the outside of the plate. West taking it all in. But the Marlins inning and Tom Verducci's inning ends abruptly. You never know with Joe West.
He's doing his best to move the game along.
I told you I had to get that question in quick.
All right, have fun tomorrow night.
I will, guys.
We'll be
Thanks, Tom.
watching.
All right.
It is wrestling night. Now, how cool is this? I am hanging out right now with the legend himself, Ric Flair, whose career spanned over 40 years. Now, Rick, you were kind of the bad guy, but the bad guy that everybody loved. How much fun was it to play that role?
I never thought of it like that, but it was great, and I much preferred being the bad guy as opposed to the good guy.
I feel like it would be a lot more fun to play the bad guy, right?
It is, yeah.
Now, wrestling is all about characters. What are some of the characters in baseball? Who are some of the guys that you like to watch play?
Well, I can't, I'll turn the TV on every time Stanton's playing, obviously, and I like Bryce Harper. I can't think I'm drawing a name, I can't draw a blank on my friend's name on the Astros. Such a good guy. I like Dustin Pedroia. I liked Ortiz when he was playing. Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens. I mean, a lot of the older guys. Pete Rose is a good friend of mine. The modern guys, I love Clayton Kershaw. But Stanton is probably my favorite right now.
Absolutely, that's a good one. You listed a ton of good ones. And when it comes to the Astros, that whole lineup.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of embarrassed. I can't think of my friend's name. Huh?
Altuve?
No. Jeez. He played for Boston.
Okay, we'll get back to that one. But what about Justin Bour? You endorsed him for the All-Star game. What is it about Bour that you like?
He just got a huge personality. Yeah, a lot of fun.
No question.
Yeah. Seems like a real legit guy, you know, and very, very, very respectful. It's a big word for me.
He gets into all sorts of shenanigans. Well, hey, we appreciate the time. Wrestling night, a lot of fun here.
Problem.
Can I get a woo before we finish?
Woo!
Woo! No problem, guys. I'm just going to hang out here with Ric Flair and woo for a little bit.
Woo!
Knock yourself out. Wrestling night tonight. Still got the great wrestling hair. Scott Schebler hit a BB that Miguel Rojas ran down. Jose Peraza is up right now. Reds 3-0 over the Fish. Top four. Tom Verducci in and out. It was like the car wash. right?
We had to ask fast if you had anything on your mind.
That one foul back. So he went from our our booth over to the Reds booth. And
there he is.
There he is with George Grant, who for many years emceed the Hall of Fame ceremonies. Longtime Reds broadcaster. We had 20 pitches with Tom Verducci.
Operate quickly.
The pitch missed. Into center field. You know, watching that ball, it looked like Miguel Rojas thought about diving, and of course he injured his shoulder in Texas. And then you could almost see the light bulb go on and say, I can't get that ball. There's no use re-injuring myself.
Yeah, it would have taken the same type of a over-the-top effort to come up with it. Ball hit well back through the middle. Take a look at it. Behind home. You're right. There was maybe a chance there that an all-out effort would have kept that ball on the infield. He realizes that's a no-no right now. I need to keep him on the field.
Liner to left. Ozuna starting back. And he makes the catch. By the way, we didn't get a chance with the goodbyes to Tom Verducci to Fox Tracks the pitch on Ozuna, but on Fox Tracks it did show up as a strike.
Yeah, everything missed but the pitch itself, and I think that's probably, yeah, watch this. So it's across the strike zone, and that's what Marcell Ozuna is complaining about, right? He's watching the catcher's glove kind of cross back to the backhand on the other side, but as we all know, the ball crosses the plate or it catches the corner on that side, it's still a strike. Back in the day before Fox Tracks, maybe he gets that call.
Sal Romano is up. Romano fouls it. Reds pitcher struck out back in the second. This is a start for Vance Worley, his first start since June 9th at Pittsburgh. And he gets another strikeout of Romano. Reds leave a runner. Bottom 4 in Miami. 3-0 Cincinnati. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep, by Hankook Tires, chase down your passion, never halfway, and by your South Florida Chevy dealers. South Beach, that's how it looks when you're on your way home. What?
That's not legal.
Trying to beat the traffic. That's an Uber.
Oh, now it's legal?
Yeah, you're just riding along, you pop out your camera and away you go.
Awfully fast to me.
Well, here tonight, That big first inning for the Reds is holding up. Sal Romano pitched himself into trouble and then out of trouble. And a strikeout of Real Muto was a big one in the first. After walking 3, Romano struck out Real Muto and then Derek Dietrich. Those two are up here with Tyler Moore in the 4th. Breaking ball up. One for 3 last night was JT with a walk. Had a nice road trip and a nice stay in Texas. A lot of his family and friends down from Oklahoma.
Outstanding July coming into tonight's ball game. 370.
Real Muto drives that ball left center field, and it's off the wall. JT to second. He'll hold there. Duvall chasing it in the gap, and he never quite got there.
Get himself a hanging breaking ball in the 2-1 count. His job staying back. See the leg kick. It's out over his front side just a little bit. Extension. His arms across the plate and extend. One hops the wall in left center field. Very nice start to the 4th inning for the Marlins.
Here's Derek Dietrich. Dietrich struck out back in the 1st. Jeff Conine's conversation with Dietrich prior to his report on Marlins Live. There's Hunter Cervenka, Miami's pen. Niner focused in on thinking too much at the plate, just simplifying. Dietrich has done that nicely the last 2 ball games.
As simple as sometimes just seeing the ball and putting it in play with your best swing every time. You see the rhythm. Dietrich's preset swing preparation. You see how those hands are kind of moving almost like he's dancing a little bit. There's a little bit of rhythm to it. But you'll notice right before the pitch is delivered and that leg goes up, those hands get back right into the hitting position. Much better than what it was a little bit earlier on the road trip where he was moving his hands much quicker. See how it's got kind of a nice flow to it? And watch, the hands will go back right there. It's right on time.
96 on the fastball. Romano got him to chase a slider down and in his first at bat for strike 3. Tyler Moore on deck. Only 2 hits, that Real Muto double and the Tyler Moore single. There's that pitch. And it's 2-2.
Nice adjustment, being able to avoid it the second time. Chased it in that first at bat, not in the second.
Giancarlo Stanton has some company. Aaron Judge is 33rd. 33 apiece, Judge and Stanton.
Watch the kids behind home. Hello. Get off your phone. Young man in the orange hat. Yeah, he was busy. Well, they both were on their phone.
Yeah, one's talking and the other's texting or Snapchatting. Hey, Billy, you're on. All night long, Barnhart has been having to To knock balls down, absorb pitches on cross-ups.
Well, back to the first inning, and after the first cross-up, I think he's been on red alert for another one. Not that there's been any kind of hesitation, but almost an expectancy, maybe a little bit more for the unknown from Romano.
Dietrich's worked the count all the way back to 3-2. And a fastball low. Dietrich walks. That brings up Moore. Sunday, of course, you got the D. Gordon bobbleheads, and it's Family Sunday with Aquafina Family 4-pack. Starts at $84. 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all beef hot dogs, 4 Pepsi soft drinks, or Aquafina waters. Marlins.com/Aquafina. Excuse me. Bobbleheads on Saturday. All-star posters on Sunday.
Yeah, my family will be out. Mars and the guys.
And Gal.
And gals. Marcy and Tatum. It's family day here at Marlins Park.
It is.
A good swing from Tyler Moore. His first time up. Line drive base hit to center field.
Now, the Marlins didn't score in the first, but the result of that first inning is it really jump-started the pitch count for Romano. This is number 61. Nobody out here in the fourth.
See how much faith Romano continues to have in that slider. Went out there on the 0-1 pitch. Not a bad pitch. Did not get the swing and miss. Went right back out there again.
One-two. And he got him. 96 in on the hands. 5 strikeouts for Romano.
We continue to talk about at the beginning of the game on how important the fastball command is. As good as his slider has been, he's got to be able to put his fastball where he needs it. He's only going to feature 2 pitches. 2-seam fastball at 96 miles an hour to the inner corner. Very effective. Tyler Moore is thinking slider away.
Rojas. Now Worley's spot is due up, but Tomas Talis has a bat and is on deck. Reds hoping for a ground ball. Peraza and Jeanette double play depth. He's gone 2-0. He's only walked 4, and he struck out 5.
That's early. Just to move the ball around the strike zone.
Pitch is down low.
Both of the young starters for the Reds are learning their way to navigate around a strike zone. And I think what you take away from Romano, even Stevenson, is both have very good arms, both have high velocity on the fastballs and some good breaking balls to go along with it, but they've got to find their way around the strike zone. The mechanics, the A's and the B's, knowing where your arm slot is and how to get back to it, especially when your command starts to leave.
Well, the bags are loaded now. And it's the second time that the Marlins have had him loaded with 1 out. Mac Jenkins on his way out. And it's going to be a Tomas Talis pinch hit appearance. So Vance Worley's day is done after 4 innings. Big spot here. Miami trying to get back in. Down 3-0. Now 5 walks, 5 strikeouts for Romano. And a strike. And it's a strike. One and one. .28 pitches in that first inning, and this 4th inning feels an awful lot like it. Pitch number 22 coming. Bags loaded, 1 out. Talis pinch hitting.
2 for 6 on the season as a pinch hitter for the Marlins. Does have a double and an RBI.
Lorenzen warming up. Looks like a weighted ball. A lot of pitchers are using to at least start their routine. Romano now has 2 strikes. Remember, he's bounced a pretty good amount of balls in the dirt. We got Real Muto at 3rd in a bases loaded spot. Talis, a comebacker to the plate. He throws it over the head of Barnhart. Real Muto scores. And it's 3-1.
You could almost feel it and see it coming. Young man Romano out there trying to battle his way out of the mess he made. Does everything right as far as fielding the ball. Sets his arm, sets everything. Even has a good line to home plate. Just airmails it. Does everything right. Heard it time and time again. So hard sometimes for pitchers to throw to bases. Well, home is no different, especially when you're off the mound and on flat ground. Look how it sails. Out of his hand a little early.
So an E1 and a big E1. Here's Gordon. Middle infield bunch for 2. Corners are in. And maybe that's what Miami needs to get rolling. And for, you almost feel badly for Barnhart, who's really been on his head on a swivel, his feet on skates. Wild pitches, balls in the dirt, cross-ups, and now an air-mailed throw on what looked like a 1-2-3 double play opportunity. There's no RBI on that play because the error was made at the plate, which allowed the run to score. 1-0. Gordon lifts it in the air to left. Duvall. Dietrich tags on his way home, and he scores. Miami chases home another. Gordon a sacrifice fly, and that gives Stanton an at bat with runners 1st and 2nd.
Nice job by D. Gordon. There's a lot of velocity, a lot of Sometimes it's easier to keep those hands inside the baseball and lift it to left than it is to try to pull it in the air. So Pete Gordon, his natural swing, rewarded with an RBI with a deep fly ball to left.
Stanton walked in the first, hit a deep fly to right down the line in the third. Third time through. Oftentimes is that as far out as it's going to get? That was out even further. Yeah, see, that was the ball in white was the first pitch that was called a strike. And Romano, after getting that first call, has been right back out there 2 more times.
Well, he's nibbling. He's trying to get that corner again. He knows who's in the box. He knows what type of July he's had. Stanton, one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball, hitting for power. Had a pretty good swing, even that deep fly ball to right. He knows that he has got to be precise with Stanton. If he makes a mistake, he'll be made to pay for it.
Rojas at second, Talise at first. And a 2-1 to Stanton. That's a strike. Same area code, and it's 2-2. And that one caught the corner. That's a perfect pitch.
I'll anticipate him going right back out there again.
Fastball or slider? Slider. And Barnhart, who deserves some kind of medal tonight, is able
Badge
to
of honor tonight?
knock it down. Yes. I don't know if the scouts, I know they have one for tying knots and making tents and stuff, but maybe for blocking pitches, absorbing contact, and saving a pitcher.
Part of everything this Reds team is going through in the second half is summed up in these situations tonight. Remember, they're 2-12 since the All-Star break. They have not done a lot of winning, and they're trying to get out of this funk they're in.
Runners on the move. 3-2 is out. Stanton walks. Bags are loaded. Here comes Yelich.
Well, great discipline by Stanton. Here comes Brian Price. 78 pitches is all Romano is going to throw tonight here in the fourth.
Lorenzen has been ready for a while now, and he's coming in. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. 1-run game. Reds on top. Michael Lorenzen. It's a Christian Yelich at bat that waits with the bags loaded and 2 outs.
Pitch the 8th inning Tuesday in New York versus the Yankees. A lot of solo home run to Didi Gregorius. Why do I mention that? Left-handed batter. There's Christian Yelich stepping into the box. No grand slams in his career. 44 batting average.
The Marlins have had 10 base runners in this ballgame, and they have all of 2 hits. Bags loaded here. Yelich just walked and tapped into an out in front of the plate. Lorenzen in with a fastball. Great athlete. Reds use him as a pinch hitter at times. And Yelich pops it out to shallow left. Peraza is there, and Peraza almost overruns the ball and makes the catch. That would have cost 2 runs. Miami gets 2 and trails 3-2. Price on the 10-day disabled list, left elbow strain. How about JD Martinez? What a great deal so far for the Diamondbacks. Grand slam, beat the Cardinals last night. Brett Gardner not only walked off with a home run last night, he had the triple that set up the tying run in the bottom of the 9th, and he homered to lead off the game tonight. Not often you get a walk-off homer one night and you homer to lead off the next night.
Well, a couple of hot hitters, both enjoying outstanding seasons. The Astros, or excuse me, the Diamondbacks certainly enjoying the spoils. Trading for JD Martinez, the instant results right there with 4 homers and his first 5 hits. Watching it at bat a couple days ago. I think it might have been yesterday. No, it was 2 days ago. He like fouled one off the left, fouled one off the right, and then ended up hitting a home run to right. I was like, man, he is locked in.
Hunter Cervenka gets the top of the order. Billy Hamilton, Scooter Gennett, and Joey Votto. Four innings for Vance Worley. 4 hits, 3 runs. Gave up the Adam Duvall 2-run homer. 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Worley threw 70 pitches. Tapper slowly hit. Rojas has to charge, glove, throw, and just gets one of the fastest men, if not the fastest man, in the game. Some Geico for everybody. 2002, first triple play in franchise history. Mike Lowell was part of that. Does
that imply it was unassisted? I don't know. I'm asking.
No,
You don't remember?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't unassisted. But I was about to say he also, in his career, turned the hidden ball trick twice. And I know that's probably not an official stat anywhere, but
well,
I don't know that. Does anybody remember before that the Marlins pulling off the hidden ball trick, or is Lowell the only guy to do it twice?
Tell you, guys who did pull it off, guys like Scott Rowland, Mike Lowell obviously as well. I didn't have an appreciation for that. It always put me on guard when I was on base. I didn't like it. I have to admit, as social as as base runners and infielders are in today's game, that isn't actually attempted more.
That may be that second Mike Lowell hidden ball trick, maybe the last one I've seen.
It's been a while.
One, two. Well, just for kicks and for giggles and for the kids.
There go the runners. Ripped, caught by Mike Lowell. And there's the tag. It is going to be a triple play. Mike Lowell's going to throw to first. How about that? Inning over. Wow. First triple play ever turned.
There you go.
Ask and you shall receive. Beautifully done. Ball was hit hard too by Vladdy Guerrero.
Vladdy Guerrero in his prime.
Yes. He could hit anything hard. Imagine exit velocity with Vladdy. Whew.
I wish they had StatCast exit velocity for Gary Sheffield.
The best right-handed pull hitters I have ever played with.
Cervenka misses down low to Votto.
Remember, there's a time I was playing with Chef in Los Angeles. His hands were so quick. Somebody threw him an inside fastball. I have to imagine it was probably at least 4 or 5 inches off the inside corner, but he got around it. He launched it out of Dodger Stadium up on the roof over the dugout. Yes.
So he turned on it and hit it.
Right, over our heads basically in the dugout.
Wow. That's fast.
Wow, was it fast.
All right, who's writing that stuff? I liked it. I mean,
I missed it. I was talking with my hands again.
All
Sorry.
right, we'll show it again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like it. It's FS1.
There you go.
Adam Duvall takes a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-2. Duvall lost one in the first off of Vance Worley. Cutter that didn't cut.
Yeah, left it out over the plate. Ball pulled those hands through and turned on it. Probably pitch his second time up.
That is strike 3 called. Cervenka comes in and gets Duvall. 3-2 ball game. Halfway through in Miami. Have a 3-2 lead, bottom 5 in Miami. Both starters are long gone. Michael Lorenzen continues on for the Reds. Marcell Ozuna, plate word, has walked and has struck out. JT Realmuto, Derek Dietrich to follow. Miami winners last night. Trying to follow that up with a Game 2 win. This is a 4-game series. Ozuna in the hole at short. Peraza around it. Gets the out. On Friday, August 11th, it is Marvel Night. Look at that. That's the Hulk, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome him to the show. Purchase a special event ticket. You'll get a limited edition Hulk bobblehead. Plus the first 6,000 fans get a Marvel superhero t-shirt. Tickets at marlins.com/special events. Tonight is wrestling night. Well, I do not believe there will be any wrestling exhibition like the wrestling night of, I want to say 4 years ago, where there were numerous Marlins in the ring. Craig was announcing. AJ Ramos, Tom Kohler. Not sure who the others were, but someone got hit on the back with a chair.
Pre-game or
post-game? Post-game in the plaza. It was a big night. It was a great moment. First pitch with Ramos, who's a wrestling fan and pleased to meet Ric Flair. And he was able to catch the first pitch. And it looked like Ramos had a lot of the routine down. He was, that night, dressed as the Mexicutioner. That was his wrestling costume, a luchador themed outfit. Realmuto with the count 3-1.
I'm assuming that is, there you go, that's his trademarked presentation.
The styling, profiling, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. Woo!
Now that feels more like wrestling night. Here's a 3-2. And JT Realmuto into center field for a base hit. 2 hits for Realmuto. 1 out single. It brings up Derek Dietrich.
Yeah, JT just keeps on hitting. Breaking ball his last at bat, double off the wall. 3-2 breaking ball again. Stays right through it, lines it back through the middle. Couple hops. Second hit of the night.
Dietrich digs in. You know, the way things have gone for the last few weeks for the Marlins, really haven't looked at the standings much at all, because just about everybody in the East, in fact everybody in the East other than Washington, is buried and under 500. But the Atlanta Braves have not had a great stretch in the last week and a half, and the Phillies are shutting the Braves out 8-0 halfway through that ball game in Philadelphia. Atlanta is 13 behind Washington. Miami is 14 back. And the Mets are 14 back. "20 minutes before game time, Jeremy Hellickson was scratched from tonight's start due to active trade talks and a wet and sloppy field.
Okay. Thought you were leading us to, and there's a big trade. Maybe. Maybe's a very popular word this week. Close to. A lot of creative words, a lot of good adjectives used this week.
On the verge of.
Yes.
Imminent.
Can be anxious for the players too. We don't talk about it very often.
Dietrich rolls one. Jeanette turns and decides to get the out at first. That's a wise decision. Realmuto got down to second quicker. Here comes Tyler Moore.
Well, Cincinnati Reds, last time they had consecutive 6-walk ball games from their starters. It's been a while. Of course, Romano tonight, Stevenson last night. 7 years ago, September 13th and 14th of 2008. How about this? And it's Volquez, Johnny Cueto.
Wow. That is turn back the clock night. I was thinking maybe a Bronson Arroyo, although he had the great control. So
Bronson's with the team. I saw Bronson, former teammate of mine, earlier today.
Was
with the Reds.
Was he singing?
He was not singing.
Or playing the guitar?
He was not playing the guitar either. He was rehabbing.
Milwaukee has scored first against the Cubs. Dustin McGowan in Miami's bullpen. 1-0 Brewers, a game and a half behind the Cubs. That's bottom 3 in Milwaukee.
Tell you what, that's going to be a big series up in Milwaukee. I started to think about that between the Cubs. Wrigley North is also known as Miller Park in Cubland. The way the Brewers have been hanging in there and playing good baseball this year, I'm sure that's probably going to be a pretty testy series this weekend.
On the field and in the seats.
Yes, potentially.
That is strike 3 called. Tyler Moore strikes out. Miami leaves another in scoring position. Billy is ready for some wrestling. Into the 6th, into the showstopper. Yeah, there he is. Aaron Judge draws even with Giancarlo Stanton. A home run to left. After getting his tooth repaired from last night. The Yankees have a 5-1 lead over the Rays in the 7th. Here it's 3-2 Cincinnati. Reds jumped on Marlins starter Vance Worley for 3 in the first. Worley went 4. Hunter Cervenka in his second inning in relief. Eugenio Suarez, Scott Schebler, Jose Peraza. Breaking ball for a strike. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. Oh, 2. You mentioned Edinson Volquez, the Marlins starter, has been down with tendonitis in his knee. Swing and a miss, and Suarez strikes out.
Nice slider. Strikeout for Cervenka.
There's a look at Volquez. Marlins are going to get a second opinion on that knee and have another exam. Some pretty good thunder going on outside the ballpark.
Is that what that was?
I sure hope that's what it was.
Right. It startled me too, but it was a sound I hadn't heard before. It was loud. Wasn't sure. I didn't want to speak up either. I was going to keep to myself on that one. There it is again.
Scott Schebler. He takes out. Well, if the Marlins can get a couple of innings from Cervenka, McGowan's ready to go. 4 innings from Worley in the game. It's 3-2.
Both managers challenged this entire season with bullpen management and inning management. 398 2/3 innings for the Cincinnati Reds. Marlins not too far off. They're in third, 375 and 2/3 innings, and that number is climbing. So 1 and 2 in the National League. This has been up there the last 3 years, top 3 last 3 seasons.
Bobblehead night tomorrow night. It's D. Gordon's bobblehead. Adam Conley trying to follow up on a really nice start. It's a Dan Straley start on Sunday. And Cervenka. Good sharp breaking ball. 2 outs, and here comes Peraza.
Sharp breaking ball has been outstanding. He's used it multiple times to lefties and righties, able to pick up strikeouts. 4th strikeout his outing.
So we'll keep an eye on the Jeremy Hellickson news that he was scratched from tonight's start. Starting pitcher market seems to be the most popular, as it usually is around the trading deadline. Miami saw Drew Storen last night. Two coming. Wow, Hunter Cervenka looking sharp. 2 scoreless here, the 5th and the 6th. No worries. Keeps it right at 3-2. Toyota in the all-new RAV4. Franchise history at home. 1,000 wins, 1,649 home runs. Marlins trying to make it 1,001 and get win number 48 on the season. Hunter Cervenka, 2 nice innings in relief. Juan Nieves, Miami's pitching coach, right next to him. Fish got 2 in the bottom of the 4th. And that's when Michael Lorenzen came in. He got the last out of the 4th, 3 outs in the 5th. Starts the 6th. With Rojas, probably Ichiro, and then D. Gordon. And Lorenzen's gone 3-0 on Rojas. Getting on base has not been an issue for the Marlins. They've been able to do it quite well tonight. They've left the bags loaded twice. And Lorenzen misses on all 4 to Rojas. Here comes Ichiro. And before we introduce Ichiro, a Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. Pinch hits. Ichiro on top of that list, 16 of them.
Mentioned it, Rich. 8 left on base tonight so far. 6 in scoring position last night. Same thing. They did win the ball game 4-1, but they left 11 guys on base. 5 in scoring position.
Ichiro, long look down to Freddie Gonzalez. 3,059 hits. He's 1 away from tying Biggio. That runs away. And on this Hall of Fame weekend, you're not sure when he's going to get there because you're not sure when he's going to retire.
Ichiro will stay with it as long as there's an opportunity.
Do you think Ichiro's in on the first ballot?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. I'm in agreement there.
No doubt.
One and 2. You got Rojas at first. And now Ichiro with a 1-2 count. Reds looking for a ground ball. Ichiro slaps one wide of third. Now remember, the ball boy used the hat, or tried to.
There's different rules in the seats.
I think fitted cap, better idea than adjustable, which oftentimes you lose the ball out the back. I like the shirt. Is it iced tea with ice cube in it?
Looks like it. Nice play. When you're in the seats, you're allowed to use your hat. You're on the field, you got to use your glove.
So ice cube is in the iced tea. And he's a Hoosier. Ichiro rips one down the right field line. It's going to the wall. Bounces off the wall. To third is Rojas, and he holds there. And he draws even with Craig Biggio. 3,060. Tied for 22nd all time.
Rocket off the bat of Ichiro, a hanging breaking ball from Lorenzen. It's spinning up there, stays about thigh high. Ichiro gets it out in front of home plate and rips it into the right field corner. The only question is, would it drive in a run? Get it in pretty quickly. Marlins at second and third. Gonzalez has to stop Rojas. That's we're able to get it in rather quick. Not a great throw, but it was the timing. Stops him at second and third.
Get that ball. Get the authenticator on it. Here's Gordon. Corners in, middle infield back, and there's nobody out. I'm in a good spot here. Adrian Beltre had a hit today, and he is 3 behind Clemente. Ichiro even with Biggio, and he's got a shot at Cap Anson.
Figure there might be a few more starts a little later in the year. Ichiro, maybe.
Gordon behind in the count, 0-2. Reds bullpen is active. Miami with a great opportunity to draw even at the very least. Rojas at third, Ichiro at second. And Gordon strikes out.
Lorenzen ties him up. Cut fastball, 91 miles an hour. See, it kind of hunts the inside corner. And he has to pull his hands back in to even try to get a piece of that.
Well,
wasn't able to do it.
First base is open, but the Reds are going to pitch to, or at least start to pitch to, Stanton. He's walked twice tonight. He's walked 5 times already in this series. This is only game 2. How far out Barnhart is. Left it out, little tapper. Here comes Rojas. He's going to score. Great heads up, great first step, and the game is even at 3.
You know, slow rollers work all the time with this situation. I talk about it quite often. You'd love to hit a rocket, but sometimes soft is good. See Suarez, this is the only play he's got. Rojas off with the crack of the bat. He's got the best read. Even Stanton thought there was a second there that might go foul. Rojas had the best read of everybody. So he's got a 10-foot start on Suarez. Scores easy.
Now Yelich, Ichiro at third, but there's 2 outs. For 2 night with a walk. He was the first man to face Lorenzen and popped out. That ended the 4th. Willie Peralta, or Wandy Peralta, is in the bullpen. Lorenzen gets that inside corner.
Combination between the 2-seam fastball and the cut fastball. As some of these lefties fits underneath their hands.
And he strikes Yelich out. So Yelich goes down swinging. Miami settles for a run and ties it at 3. Three ball game inside.
Is that the bat signal out there?
Yes. Batman's needed as a pinch hitter later in the game. Ballpark Pass is yours, and you receive a mobile access to every remaining regular season home game for only $29.99 per month. Great matchups, giveaways, fireworks, all of that in the final months of the season. It's less than $3 a game, and it's available on your smartphone with the MLB.com Ballpark app. Visit Marlins.com/ballparkpass today.
Restrictions apply. Does that mean no disseminating?
Check your local listings. Refresh your browser and update all your apps. Hunter Cervenka went 2 scoreless. Now Dustin McGowan is in. And his first pitch misses. McGowan's role becomes a little more important now in the absence of David Phelps, who, by the way, was put on the disabled list today by Seattle with an elbow issue. Kyle Bearclaw, of course, on the disabled list. And so guys in that bullpen for the Fish, guys like McGowan, Junichi Tazawa. We talked about Drew Steckenrider. That one into right field. Stanton will pick it up. Tucker Barnhart with a base hit. This is the 9th spot in the order. It's like Devin Mesoraco will get the at-bat.
Six pinch hits on the season for Mesoraco.
Mesoraco came into last night's ball game and got a pinch hit in the 8th. Rolls one to short. Rojas. Gordon's turn is in time. Bang bang play at first. But D makes the pivot. And McGowan gets 2 important outs.
Yeah, that certainly does. Nice pitch by McGowan down in the zone. Rojas Quick turn to D. Gordon. Everything on time needed to be. We had a step, half a step left with Mesoraco crossing the first base bag. Stretched by Tyler Moore. A couple of big outs here in the 7th.
Billy Hamilton now. Then he rolls it to second. Gordon is there, on to first. Bullpen's been terrific tonight. Billy Hamilton frustrated in a 3-3 game. Game. Reds and Fish, 7th inning stretch. Baseball tomorrow. Giants and Dodgers, that's a great rivalry. And Reds and Marlins get a little FS1 love. You can watch the game on FS1 or watch it on Fox Sports Go. That's tomorrow night. This ball game has an interesting flow to it. The Reds got out of the gates 3-0, and they looked like they'd be off and running and racing. Vance Worley didn't look sharp, but he sharpened up enough to get through 4. Hunter Cervenka and now Dustin McGowan have been outstanding out of the bullpen. And the Marlins have caught the Reds to tie it at 3. Wandy Peralta is the second out of the bullpen for the Reds. Here on the 28th of July, and of course the trading deadline coming up on the 31st. Next 2 days should be interesting.
A lot of bullpen arms being talked about around baseball. Peralta pitching last night's ball game, 1 inning. Pitch did have a strikeout and a walk, 13 total pitches. Got a very good arm, 95, 97 mile an hour fastball.
Ozuna shoots one to the right side. Scooter Gennett gets there and makes the play. Marcel an 0 for 3 tonight. There's not a lot of hits on the board for either team. Miami has just 4. Cincinnati has 5. And the guy that has half of Miami's totals is up here, JT Realmuto, a double and a single.
Haven't you noticed that, from the Cincinnati Reds kind of point of view, obviously with all the walks, Marlins doing a good job being patient, but he kind of messes with your hitting tempo. Take a few walks, you create a couple opportunities with guys on base, and it's just kind of everything's kind of a screeching halt right now. And the Marlins are doing their part. They haven't expanded the strike zone too often, but they have not been able to capitalize either. Two hits for Realmuto. Line drive base hit for Moore. That's it.
Barnhart has just had to contort himself into every position imaginable. And Realmuto is commiserates with him. This poor guy has had quite a night. Hall of Fame weekend as well begins. Have you had a chance to go up during the induction ceremonies at all? I know you played probably in a game up there, didn't you?
I did, but it was early in the year. I was able to take Marsh and the boys. We went up. It was a game that was played kind of in kicking off the time. It wasn't, you know, the weekend before or anything like that. It was actually a few weeks before.
Two balls, two strikes to Real Muto. Troy Tulowitzki sprained his ankle tonight, had to leave the game. Blue Jays and Angels. JT deep and out of here. Of the season, 4-3 Miami.
Well, JT did a lot of the heavy lifting one night in Cincinnati. And why not tonight in Miami? Third hit of the ball game. No doubter to left. Changeup, elevated at the letters. He knows it.
All it had to do was stay fair.
Elevated down the middle. 7 miles an hour. I bet that went about 401 feet.
Dietrich flips one into the gap, left center field. That's going to get in there. Rolls to the wall. Derek Dietrich to second with a one-out double. But it took the Marlins all of 7 innings to climb out of that 3-0 hole they fell into in the first. But they've done it.
Back-to-back extra base hits. Dietrich has shown over the last few ball games just how strong he is, particularly in the upper body. Right there, weight out over the front foot, slider away. Off the bat, it almost looked like he was getting ready to just kind of flick it into left field for a base hit. He one-hopped the wall in left center.
Boy, today with the news of the Martin Prado surgery on his knee, no better time for Dietrich to heat up. In the last 3 games, he's done it. Now Tyler Moore, as Wandy Peralta is experiencing technical difficulties here in the 7th. Real Muto, all he needs now is the triple. Not sure if he'll get a chance for it. And of course, the Marlins have never had a player hit for the cycle. Storen is up for the 2nd time. Barnhart has to wrestle another one into submission. Remember that first at bat by Real Muto was a contentious one with that strike call by Joe West. And obviously JT has not let that affect him. Tyler Moore launches left field and deep off the wall. Dietrich round third. And it's 5-3. And Moore has broken out of his slump with 2 hits tonight.
Well, the lower half of the lineup getting it done once again tonight. Base hit to center field, double to left center field. Short. Nice job staying inside that. Wearing out that gap tonight. Now let's take a 2-run lead here in the 7th.
Drew Storen in for the 2nd night in a row. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. 5-3 Miami. where it's anything but calm. Derek Dietrich coming home on the Tyler Moore double. And with more on Moore, let's check in with Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Rich, Tyler Moore breaking out of his slump tonight, but really it started last night with that 10-pitch at-bat that resulted in him getting the sac fly and the best of Drew Storen. I talked to Tyler Moore about that at-bat today, and he said, look, that one felt really good. I've been struggling lately. I wanted to contribute to this team, so to get that type of at-bat, it really felt good. And carrying that momentum into this one today, guys, we just saw the double to score a run, 2 hits for Tyler Moore, and it all started last night.
And you know what? Thinking of that, we also saw Derek Dietrich in that sequence. The same thing happened to Dietrich. Remember in that at bat in Texas, that Darvish at bat, all he was looking for is just contact, had second and third, infield back. He was able to hit a ball up the middle. It went into center for a hit, and ever since then, Dietrich's been going.
Well, I think for both of them, a lot of times what happens when you're a role player, time is. You prepare yourself as a role player a particular way for a game, and then all of a sudden you're thrust into a starting role unexpectedly. You never see it coming because you're talking about an injured player, so your role changes. The at-bats come all the time, and every role player would love to tell you, and I did this for a handful of years in my career, that got your best swing going the minute the guy gets hurt. And a lot of times this is not the case. And you got to get back into the rhythm. You got to get ready to play every day. You got to get ready to get 4 at-bats. I think in Tyler Moore's case, you have to be ready to get back on the baseball because he was pulling off the baseball an awful lot, was only going to left field exclusively, and that sacrifice fly last night was a great at bat, and it was to right field. His 2 base hits tonight, left center field and center field. Same could be said for Dietrich, because remember, the first base hit was right back up the middle.
Well, you can never have enough runs, and the Marlins have a runner in scoring position with Rojas. Storen's 2-1. Rojas liner hit it hard right on the button. Jeanette has it. And that's going to be out number 2, and you're going to get a Mike Aviles pinch hitting appearance as we introduce Storen properly.
3.07 ERA on for the 44th time this season. Made some nice mechanical adjustments and has found a home in the Cincinnati Reds bullpen. Shown some consistency and reliability. Ryan Price using him quite regularly now. Aviles had a sac bunt last night. A couple of hits in his start in Texas.
Moore the runner at second. Good outfield arms with Duvall and Schebler and Hamilton. In fact, the Reds have thrown out a slew of runners this year. The Reds lead the National League in outfield assists. 24 of them. White Sox and Indians with 25. That leads the American League. Breaking ball, Aviles down the line and deep. Hit, 2-run homer, and there's some insurance.
Great to see Mike Aviles capitalizing on this opportunity, this pinch hit opportunity, and the playing time here with the Marlins. Start in Texas, a couple of base hits. Do a pinch hit last night, got the job done with a sacrifice bunt. Look at this breaking ball. Backs up. Aviles sees it early, stays open. You see that front side already open. Really just pulls his hands in and keeps it fair. Not easy to do. Nice job cutting that off. And that home run swing.
So a pinch hit homer And Miami's lead grows to 7-3. Aviles had all of 1 home run last year in 181 plate appearances for the Tigers. Gordon sends one softly out into right center, and it falls for a hit.
Yeah, the Marlins offense is erupting. Sacrifice fly for D. Gordon, able to find some green grass in right field for his first hit of the night.
Dearest Stan, think about what the Marlins have tonight off their bench as pinch hitters. Remember, the Ichiro double was key in the 6th. That put Miami in a position to tie the game. And then a pinch hit 2-run homer stretches the lead now to 7-3. Here's Stanton against Storen.
For Aviles, his first National League homer.
How about that? Drew Steckenrider in Miami's bullpen.
You had a sense that some new opportunities would be creating themselves down there in the bullpen for others to pitch that 8th and 9th inning.
Stanton drove in a run with a ground ball out in the 6th. 0 for 2 with 2 walks. And a 1-1 from Storen with Gordon at first. Storen sticks the corner. It's 1-2.
Well, D. Gordon last night a first. First time in his career he had been caught stealing twice. 1 ball game.
Stanton a laser to center and hangs up for Hamilton, who makes the catch. But Miami gets some big swings. JT Realmuto gives Miami the lead. Derek Dietrich, Tyler Moore, and Mike Aviles with a pinch hit 2-run homer. Everybody back to normal. The Marlins are on top. The 3-0 Cincinnati lead has not held up. Drew Storen knocked around, and Drew Steckenrider is in. Don Mattingly the other day was talking about his options when Kyle Bearclaw went on the disabled list. David Phelps had been traded. This is one guy he talked about as getting an opportunity in higher leverage spots. And one of the things that Mattingly targeted is that said Steckenrider is a strike thrower, and managers obviously dig that when you get into the 7th and the 8th.
They certainly do, almost to a fault. And that's the only thing that I really noticed with Steckenrider is sometimes he throws a few too many strikes. He's got the big arm, 96, 98 miles an hour. You see 95 out of the hand already. Occasionally he'll drift a two-strike pitch, catch an awful lot of the plate. But you want to see that, so a good opportunity for him here tonight. Marlins bullpen outstanding. Remember, Marlins down in this ball game 3-0 right out of the gate. Credit to Vance Worley, he settled down. Nothing but zeros from the 2nd inning on.
Had 2 innings from Hunter Cervenka, who struck out 5 of the 6 Reds that he retired.
Nice tidy inning for Dusty McGowan.
Scooter Gennett is a good hitter. He's got 2 of them tonight. Here comes Votto. Milwaukee and the Cubs are into the 6th up in Milwaukee, and so far it's the Brewers up 2-0. It's a battle for the top spot in the Central this weekend. Votto takes a rip. RBI single, a double play grounder, and a walk for Votto. Braves have been trying to come back ever since they were down 8-0 midway through in Philly, and it's 8-3 Phillies, bottom 8. Votto adding a narration to that pitch in. As we noted earlier, the Braves, now everybody's a long ways away from the Nationals, but the Braves currently occupy 2nd in the National League East. If that score holds, if the Phillies were to beat them and the Marlins were to win this ball game, Marlins would be even with Atlanta, and the Mets would have an opportunity to do so as well. Mets are in Seattle tonight.
Steckenrider overpowers Joey Votto.
It doesn't happen often.
No. 4 straight fastballs.
Adam Duvall helped propel the Reds to that lead, the 2-run homer back in the 1st. Here's Steckenrider with a good wrinkle for a strike. A.J. Ramos, of course, got 4 outs for the save last night, is available to go tonight, even though it's a 4-run Miami lead. Elevated fastball, and Duvall is late on it. 2 strikeouts and 2 starters for tomorrow. Tim Edelman and Adam Conley.
Conley throwing the ball much better since his return to the Marlins. Outstanding stuff. Efficiency, good pitch sequencing. Good opportunity against this Reds team. It's been struggling with lefties.
Suarez. Three hits last night. Marlins now with 9 hits. Cincinnati 6. Of course, 2 home runs in the 7th. JT Realmuto and Mike Aviles. But when he's able to throw the breaking ball for a strike, that 95, 96 elevated fastball becomes a different pitch.
It changes the message to right-handed hitters. Saw Duvall step right into the box like he thought he was going to get 95, 96. After watching what he did to Votto, and Steckenrider snapped off a few sliders. Duvall had no chance at them.
Two and two. That's strike three called.
Another great breaking ball.
And a great night for the bullpen. 7-3 Miami. To win an all-inclusive stay in the Cayman Islands on Labor Day weekend. Hashtag Southwest Summer Days Sweeps. Hashtag sponsored. Just tweet those two at Fox Sports FL for your chance to win. It's a lot of hashtagging, so hashtag Southwest Summer Days Sweeps. Hashtag sponsored. But it's worth it. I mean, Labor Day weekend, Cayman Islands. Billy the Marlin on wrestling night. Tony Cingrani in for the Reds. He grooves one in there to Christian Yelich.
A one-time starter, now reliever for the Cincinnati Reds. Very nice job out of the bullpen for them.
Reds have a few guys like that. Lorenzen, Cingrani. Yelich. An 0 for 3 night, struck out in the 6th. Both managers have had to dip into their bullpen. And the Marlins pen has fared much better than the Reds pen. In fact, Cincinnati's pen is responsible for 5 of the 7 runs. Yelich down on strikes. Junichi Tazawa getting ready for the 8th in this new world order, right? Marlins pen.
It's a different look. A lot of new names, new faces. Service time is totally different in the Marlins pen right now.
So there's been a shuffling of responsibilities.
Right.
Odrisamer Despagne has arrived. And he's kind of the Swiss Army knife for the pen now. If you need a spot start, he could give that to you. He's pitched well, Despagne has, down in New Orleans. He earned his way back up.
Most certainly. 3.90 ERA.
Ozuna with the count 1-2. Well, the Marlins have been able to do it without the big guns blazing. Stanton, Yelich, Ozuna do not have a hit. Stanton knocked in a run, a ground ball. And now Ozuna is down looking for the second time. But then again, this guy is a different story, and that's a double, single, and a homer for Real Muto. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Marlins baseball. Stay connected. Get home screen icon, app features, game day, video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat. Needs a triple for the cycle. No Marlin has ever hit for the cycle, despite 6 no-hitters in 3,919 games. Despite playing their home games in 2 ballparks conducive to triples, with that big triangle in the old football stadium, which is much newer now and looks a lot nicer now.
Yeah, I think he's going to go ahead and do it right now. Why not?
He's got the speed to do it.
He certainly does. Deciding which outfielder to test, I'm not sure. I know the answer is not Billy Hamilton, though. You shoot that right center field gap out there.
StatCast and all the data they have has Real Muto as the fastest player who's not an outfielder or a second baseman, and I believe 1 shortstop, and he's faster than everybody else. And for a catcher, that's a pretty good place to be.
Well, there's no doubt his athleticism. We see it day in and day out. I certainly consider myself privileged to watch him. I mean, watching his work behind home plate and certainly his offensive exploits, outstanding stuff. This guy's going to be an all-star. A little ahead of myself there.
JT's on his way down to first.
Well, all right, I tried.
Now, tomorrow night, we hope you enjoy Justin Kutcher and Tom Verducci on FS1. Sunday, it's back here on Fox Sports Florida. Jessica Blaylock, Jeff Conine, series finale. All-Star poster giveaway. The poster very popular. There it is. All the Marlin All-Star participants. Of course, Bohr had his big moments in the home run derby. Don Mattingly on the All-Star coaching staff. And here's Dietrich. You used to hear that in the minor leagues when the fans would yell balk. He caught his cleat and stumbled towards first, so it wasn't a clean move.
Right. Watch the front foot as he steps towards first base. Comes up a little short.
Now, if he had hesitated a little more, it would have been a balk.
I believe if he would have held on to the baseball, he would have balked.
Well, yes. If he'd have taken another step or two. Dietrich's double, a key part of the 7th. Dietrich, little flare down the line, and it's fair. Real Muto to third, and Derek Dietrich has got a double, and the hits just keep coming for the former Georgia Tech shortstop.
Stays in on a slider again from a lefty. Nice piece of hitting. Over his front foot just a little bit. Watch the weight transfer in the upper body, but kept the hands back. Well, half swing down the left field line. Turns itself into a double. Derek Dietrich. Stay hot.
More chopper towards short. Peraza to first in time. And the Marlins will leave a couple. To the ninth. Junichi Tazawa getting ready. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Nighttime in Miami. Some thunder and lightning passed through here about 45 minutes ago. And the Marlins in the 6th and the 7th with big innings. And a sizable lead here, 7-3. Now Junichi Tazawa comes on and he'll try to finish this thing. And the assignment is twofold. Number one, get 3 outs. And number 2, get 3 outs without A.J. Ramos having to get upright down in the bullpen and heat up. 4 outs last night for Ramos to finish. Scott Schebler for the Reds. Schebler, Peraza, and then Barnhart. And Tazawa, who's really been a different man since coming back from the disabled list. Fastball has zip and location, and that has done wonders for the split. To right, that's deep, and it's not coming back. Way up there. My goodness. That's 10, maybe 11 rows up in the upper tank in right field. And Schebler, who's got plenty of pop, hits his 23rd.
Schebler, mighty long slump. Start the second half. This has to feel good for him. His 4th hit since the All-Star break. It's a center cut fastball at 93 miles an hour, thigh high. Boy, did he turn on it. Woo. Zawa has now given up runs in 3 consecutive appearances.
Ball and a strike to Peraza. Peraza a single. Barnhart behind him. Well, it's a Reds team that hits a lot of home runs. To right, Stanton is there and makes the catch. How hard was that ball off the bat of Schebler? StatCast has it at 432 feet. And the exit velocity at 109 miles an hour. Tazawa has an out. Now he's got to get Barnhart. The lead is 3. Marlins trying to win their 6th out of their last 8 and get within 5 games of 500. With Conley and Straley yet to go in the series. That's a fair ball. Moore on his knees, and Tazawa is there. Then he drops it, and they'll call it a catch. The Reds certainly are going to look at that on video, but here's our first look.
Oh, yeah. Tyler Moore.
That hit a lot of things.
Sure did. Off the heel of the glove, knocks it down. Good throw to Tazawa as he crosses the bag. Sure looked to me like he had it long enough.
Yes. Now, remember when they changed that transfer rule, like the first 3 weeks of the season, that there were all kinds of...
It was a messy 3 weeks.
It was.
It really was. The interpretation of the rule was getting all twisted around. Job by Tazawa covering the bag, getting over. Tyler Moore knocking it down, making the play. 2 big outs here in the 9th.
Patrick Kivlahan, the former Rutgers football star. He homered against Miami in that series in Cincinnati. He was the guy that took Chris O'Grady out. Not a safe situation, but if Tazawa can nail down this last out, it'll feel like it for the Marlins because he saved A.J. Ramos from getting up and having to heat up and pitch. And he will have completed a really nice run by Miami's bullpen after a 4-inning start from Vance Worley. Cervenka, McGowan, Steckenrider. Fly ball left center field. That's well hit. Yelich going back at the track, at the wall. Ball game. Christian Yelich runs it down, and Miami has won the first 2 games of this 4-game series, and that's 6 of 8 now for the Marlins. 5 under 500.
Yeah, a real nice response to the 3-run first inning from the Cincinnati Reds. 7 unanswered runs until that late home run. Nice win. Great job by the bullpen.
Marlins Live is coming up. 7 runs, 10 hits for the Fish, 4 runs, 7 hits for the Reds. We're going down to the field after this.